I've had a lot of big name artists reach out to me in private saying that they agree with what I'm saying, and but a lot of them are just scared to say it because they don't want to rock the boat.
Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please help me welcome to Barry on Deck, Jeff Canada. Jeff, what's up, buddy? How you doing, man?
Oh, what's up, man?
How's it going, dude?
Does that look all right? I couldn't go to the studio to do this today, so
Oh,
I'm in my
yeah,
living
you
room.
look fantastic, man. You look fantastic. Yeah, the camera's great. Mic sounds good. You're good to go. You're a pro at this. You are a pro at this.
Yeah, if I
Yeah,
can keep these dogs from running around, if I can keep these dogs from running on this hardwood floor, I'll be good.
I always have to like fix cameras though, because like somebody will come in and they'll either be like they'll have like their phone and it'll fuck everything
Yeah.
up. They'll just be like a sliver on the screen. I'm like, God damn it. So yeah, sometimes I'll have to go in and fix it. But no, we're good, dude. And audio sounds good. So yeah, you're a pro at this. I didn't need to fix shit. I'm gonna
I was just overthinking what I'm gonna say because I'm worried about the crowd.
don't see that's
I just heard what you said. I'm just totally fucking with you.
I was like, oh fuck, because that dude when we were at the Improv Slade, he was like, well, what does your audience want to discuss? I was like, bro, I'm telling you, man, just fucking chop it up, just have fun, man. That's all they give a shit about. So yeah, man. So Jeff, let's just start with what we were just talking about on this show, because I like to tackle the hard hitting questions right off the bat. Warm potato salad, yes or no?
I don't eat potato salad at all, so
What
no.
the fuck? All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was Jeff Canada. I hope you enjoyed his time on this show. Just like, what the fuck? No potato salad? God damn
I know,
it.
and
You
that's-
call yourself an
and that's-
American, Jeff?
A Texan, bro. That's a Texan
What?
thing, man.
Yeah, no. You lived up to your name, folks. He's definitely Canadian. This is some bullshit. That's fine. No.
I know, dude. My problem is I don't eat onions. Like
Okay.
at all. I don't like I cannot fucking stand them. It's the worst thing ever. And,
Really?
yeah. And so I don't really eat a lot of like mixed food, like salads and casseroles and shit, because everybody throws onions in that shit, and I don't want to eat it, and so I usually just stay away from it.
So you're very like so onions is that like the one thing that you're just like, if it's got, because there are some people that are like for me for a long time, it was like jalapenos. It was like, does it have jalapenos in it? And it's not even like the spice. It's just the flavor of a jalapeno. I like spicy foods. I can eat hot food, but like my wife will just sit down and she buys like jalapeno. She's Mexican, so it's kind of like in their bylaws. She has to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like she just has to. But she'll just eat a jalapeno. I'm like, what the fuck is that's just the flavor is nasty. Is that how you are? I mean, like what is it about the
It's everything
onion?
about it.
It's
I just don't like. I could tell you if onions were the last food on the fucking planet, I would kill myself. like,
You just wither
that's
away
how
and
bad
die.
I hate them. That's literally how bad I hate them. I can't force myself to eat them. I've tried, and you know what's really funny about it is I catch so much shit about it, and I'm always have the same response. Don't you think I would choose to like onions? Wouldn't my life be substantially fucking easier if I just liked onions?
Yeah.
This isn't like me. It's not like I'm not liking it because I just don't want to like it. I don't like it because I just can't. I cannot, no matter what.
Did something happen as a kid? Like
Maybe so. I might have been raped with an onion. Maybe that might something like that. Something along those lines.
maybe you were getting like, I was gonna say like, did something traumatic happen while you were eating an onion, or like?
I don't know. Couldn't tell you. I
That's-
just can't stand them.
Because
I won't eat them.
I was talking yesterday. I had my mom on the show. My mom comes on my show every Monday, and I was telling her a story about during Easter. It's kind of like when you drink too much, right? Like, and I know we're gonna get into the drinking thing because I know you have stopped drinking for a while, and it's like when you drink too much. Like if you drink too much tequila and you throw up and you black out and you're just like you don't even want to smell tequila, right? Like I had eaten one of them big ass fucking like 4-foot chocolate Easter bunnies once. I ate the whole thing in like an hour and I was throwing up. I was shitting chocolate. It was a mess, dude. And I was like 8, and I couldn't fucking even. You couldn't show me chocolate. I'd be like, ugh, like until I was like 19, bro. I could not get around chocolate, and maybe something happened.
Yeah,
Like you
I don't
said,
know.
maybe
I just can't do it. I can't do
that's
onions.
crazy. Okay, so you know
Yeah.
potato salad whatsoever,
Mm-mm.
even without onions.
I mean, if I don't know, if I make it, I guess I'll eat it. But
Okay.
I can't trust anybody. That's the problem. Everybody wants to kind of sneak them in there on you. Oh, you
Yeah.
can't taste it. My mom used to say
Yeah.
that shit. You can't taste it. Well, mom, why the fuck did you put them in there if you can't taste it? Why even bother with it? Like, what? That's the dumbest thing that anyone can ever say. You can't even taste it.
I can. That's why I fucking hate it. That's so funny.
Yeah.
My brother-in-law hates mayonnaise, right? Like he fucking hates mayonnaise. And my mom, she baked a cake using mayonnaise. You've heard of this, right? Where you can substitute, I guess, like butter or some shit with mayonnaise to bake a cake, and it makes the cake like super fluffy and moist. Well, she did that and didn't tell him until later, and he was all like, I was like, Mom, you're such a bitch. Why would you do that? Why would you,
Yeah.
knowing that he fucking hates? Well, he couldn't tell. I'm like, well, now mentally he knows. Like, you can't do that to somebody. You just can't do that.
Yeah.
That's evil as fuck. Well, speaking of, I was telling the people, your dad used to live across the street from me, which
Yeah.
it's wild to me. We never really ran into each other. Did you? You just never went over there, huh? You didn't.
I went over there sometimes. Sometimes I'd see you mowing the lawn or something, but
Story of my fucking life.
you know,
Jesus Christ.
I love my family, but I try to interact with them as least amount as possible.
I knew where this was going. You know, bro, you just know when somebody starts off with, I love my family. You're like, yeah, I know where this is headed. Yeah, I just don't fuck with them much.
Yeah, I'm just a very driven person, and I mean, as you could probably tell from just my work ethic or whatever, I'm just a very driven person, and I kind of got blinders on, and I just can't get into all the drama and all the bullshit that goes on at family events and all the talking and, you know what I mean? And there's always some
All this
bullshit.
spending time together and
Yeah, well, I know a lot of families out there that are really, really tight, like brothers that go fishing and go hunting and do all this stuff together. And I've never really had that. To me, it's always just been me and now I have friends. Slade, you were talking about Slade before here. I mean, Slade's one of those guys. I spent a lot of time with Slade, and you know, like Slade's closer to me than my family is.
Yeah.
And I have a lot, not a lot, but I have some friends that I consider brothers and and I don't, it's not that I can't stand my family. I mean, I love them. They're great. I'm just on a different path. You know what I mean? I'm kind of the black sheep. I've always kind of done my own thing. I don't really pay attention to all the shit they pay attention to. I don't care about who's driving the latest and greatest truck and shit like that, and
Yep.
who's banging who and all that stuff. I don't have time for that. I'm just focused on me and my family and what I got to get done.
You say you're the
That's
black
it.
sheep. Is it kind of like because of the music thing? Like, has everybody else been down like maybe more of a corporate path or a
Dude,
career-oriented path?
I've always been the squeaky wheel, man. I've always been just the outsider. I've always done things my own way. When I was a kid, I listened to different music than everybody else in my family. If it was today, I'd probably be transgender, but just because I kind of went against the grain,
Yep.
always.
Yep.
And so it's a lot of that, and there's just some other stuff. I was raised super, super ultra hardcore right wing conservative, and with the good values of that, right? There are some good values
Yep.
of being raised like that, but also the bad values of being raised like that.
Yep.
The kind of
You are
closed-mindedness.
preaching to the choir, bro. That
Yeah,
you are.
and
I feel like you're
so
talking about my dad. I mean, like to a T. You know what I mean? That's God rest his soul. My dad passed away last year, but that was the same thing. You know, there was a lot of good
Yeah.
that comes from it, but there was, and I'm with you. I was the um I was the opposite of what you know what he would kind of
Yeah.
wanted me to be, or what he thought I should be. So that's interesting. How many siblings do you have?
I have two brothers, but
Okay.
my dad's been married like 95 times. My mom was, my mom passed away in 2018, but
Okay.
she had a couple, so I always had stepbrothers, but on both sides, stepbrothers and sisters or whatever. And we have a big family. The Canada family in general, they only have boys. We only have boys,
Really?
so it's just a huge family, and I just don't really, I'm just doing my thing.
Yeah.
That's
Just
I don't have time for it.
I get that though, dude. That makes a ton of sense, especially when you're focused on a career as difficult as a career path as being a musician. It's not
Yeah,
an easy career. Just being in entertainment in general, bro. It's just a
yeah,
fucking grind. Like it's
yeah,
not easy, and it's people think like they see the view of what we do as entertainers is a lot different than what the reality is. It's almost like those posts you'll see on TikTok. It's like Instagram versus reality. You know what I mean? Where they'll show
yeah.
you the photo, but how you get to taking it is a fucking whole different thing. How did
And
you?
that's really why I'm kind of gaining some traction is because I've kind of pulled back the curtain a little bit on social media. Not a little bit, a lot. I've pulled back the curtain a lot with both my podcast and also just songs and just my content that I share. It's I'm letting the general public know a lot of the pitfalls and a lot of the stuff that's out there and the vultures and you know what I mean? There's just so many people out there that's just wanting to take advantage of you, and you have to be a strong-minded person to do this, and which is weird because we're artists. Like comedians are artists, musicians are artists. We're artists. We're left brain.
Yeah.
We're sensitive. We live in our own heads a lot, and but and
Dude,
but we're in such a but we're like a dog eat dog world, and so you have to figure out a way to manage your expectations and manage your overall view of things and not be too sensitive because it'll kill you.
I can't tell you how many times I have sat there and I'll be on Facebook and I'll just read a post and I'll be like, yes. Yeah. Oh shit, how many times have I shared one of your posts and be like, this fucking right
Yeah,
here, this. I'm like, dude,
yeah,
it's so brilliant. And it is that it's hard for people to understand, and I really do. I appreciate what you are doing from that perspective. Have you found though that being that honest at first was a deterrent? Did you start to lose people in the beginning with your honesty?
not people. The people that I've lost and continue to lose, or I don't even consider them fucking people, dude. They're snakes, and they can go away. Uh, I don't need them. I don't need them in my life.
Yeah.
I don't need them on my team. I don't need them booking shows for me. I don't need to play their venues. But what's really funny is the amount, especially the last kind of couple weeks, because I've been just really kind of in my head. I've had a lot of big name artists reach out to me in private saying that they agree with what I'm saying, but a lot of them are just scared to say it because they don't want to rock the boat. They don't want to. But man, we need it. The problem with what's going on right now with music in general is it's just so overly saturated since COVID. And basically, what happened during COVID is every Tom, Dick, and Harry that had a little bit of talent decided they were going to chase their dream, and which is cool. I'm glad they did that. I do, but every time you log on to Facebook, every time you log on to Instagram, or you log on to TikTok, there's someone playing an instrument and singing. And then when you go to any bar out there, there's someone playing guitar and singing. So it's just not as special as what it once was to folks because everybody's doing it. And I think you put that into the same time frame as COVID and TikTok and all these social media apps and this dopamine hit you get all the time from checking your notifications and all that shit. You add all of this together, it's like a perfect storm for just nobody give a fuck about live music. Unless you're unless you're one of the top tier artists that are out there selling thousands of tickets. You know
Yep.
what I mean?
Yep.
Anybody below that is having a really tough time now. And the last thing we need is to have these vultures and snakes in our pockets trying to get us to pay for shit that we don't need. And Texas radio, I've been going so hardcore on Texas radio because it costs $5,000 to launch a campaign to Texas radio. And so it
Wait,
only cost me
what?
2,000. Yeah, it cost me 2,000 to record the song. It cost me $2,000 or $3,000 to make a video. You're telling me that it cost me more money to do that than it does to put on radio because they've set up this whole system where they're just taking advantage of the artist.
Is that the whole payola
And
thing where it's pay to play?
it's
Where
not payola. It's not payola. It's they've developed the relationships and there is value in it, but it's not $5,000 worth of value. That's the problem. There is value in being put on the radio on the Texas small market radio, and that's the big difference. If you're going to push a song to national radio, it's 50 grand and up. If you
wow.
want to be put on the national radio stations, but for small market radio, it's around 5 grand, and I'm not saying they don't work. I'm not saying that they don't deserve to get paid for what they do. I'm just saying that the ROI is not worth it. If you were to take that same $5,000 that you were going to put towards radio and put towards social media ads and Google ads and that sort of thing, you'll get way more return on your money. But it's still a good old boy system, and you got to get on the radio and you got to get on those charts for the other artists to respect you. And so it's just it's just this thing. It's just a circular thing of go out, play shows to make more money, to do more coke so I can play longer, so I can do more coke, so I can make more songs, so I can play longer.
What is the
That's what it is.
what's the I mean, I hate to say it this way because I know if somebody asked me as a comic, what's the goal? I know for me what my answer is. So I guess I'll ask you as an artist, what's the goal? What's your
So
goal?
my goal in life is just to be okay. That's it. I don't need
Yeah.
a lot of money. I don't need a big house. I don't look at that stuff as anything that for me personally. I don't need a fancy car. I just want to be okay. I want my bills to be paid. I want if my buddies are having a bachelor party, I can take a weekend off and go with them to Vegas or wherever they're going. Or if my girl wants to go on a vacation, we can. I want to do that. And then I just want to play for audiences that give a fuck.
Mm,
Like that's the goal.
mm,
That is the goal. I
that's
just
it.
want to play for audiences that give a shit. And it's just so hard right now. And I'm sure y'all got y'all's own shit y'all have to worry about. I mean, I know I go to these. Luckily, y'all can, as part of y'all's act, y'all can go off on these people that act like assholes.
Yeah.
It's okay for y'all. For us, it's frowned upon, even though I still do it. It's frowned upon, but you know, nobody can call anybody out anymore, bro. You just
Really?
can't call anybody out anymore. And it's without everybody losing their shit. And it's just like, man, we need the days back when someone's being a dipshit, you can be like, hey, bro, you're being a dipshit. And not get in trouble for saying that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Now, if you want to fight me because I said it, that's a different thing. But it's somebody else being offended for somebody else for being offended for somebody else, and it just goes down the fucking list. And then
Yeah.
you guys have to contend with this whole explosion of crowd work on y'all's videos. You're doing crowd work on your videos, so now anyone that's not familiar with comedy, I'm a huge stand-up comedy fan, and I don't want to go to a comedy show and watch somebody do an hour worth of crowd work. I don't want to do that. I want to see
Yeah.
what they got. I want to see their chops. But you got all these people that want to go in there and be part of the show because of Matt Rife and those guys. They're I get it. Hey, I don't knock anybody's hustle, but it's basically creating a whole chain reaction to now you got dipshits coming to comedy shows just to interrupt and be
That
dumb.
want to be, is there an equivalent of that in the music scene or the music business right now?
Well, there's just hecklers, but man, I love hecklers.
But I'm
Hecklers
saying,
are
no,
one
is
of my
there, because like, you know, I was, and maybe I'm phrasing this question wrong or asking this question wrong, but in comedy, the reason why Matt Rife and crowd work is so big is because, and this is going to I'm getting way down in the weeds, but bear with me. But because of the way the social media has morphed for comedy, that we've
Right.
just turned into a flick of a finger, right? So you get on TikTok or YouTube Shorts or Instagram Reels, and you just start scrolling, and it's something has to capture your attention. So when you see really quickly a comic that is, instead of delivering a joke, they're saying something to somebody, that's different. So you kind of stop, right? That's immediately different in your mind. So that's when you started to pay attention to, oh, what is this? And then it automatically, they've got you hooked now. So you've started listening to something different. So that became something that people became interested in. And that became a way to get an audience, to get a fan base. And that became the cheat code to building an entire career.
Yeah.
And that became
But y'all,
the
you guys
shortcut.
also, you guys also can't waste your material on social media. You know, you can't.
Yeah,
You know,
you
if you're
can
working,
and you
if you're working
can't.
on an hour,
That
you know, if
used
you're
to be
working on
the
an hour for a
case.
special, for
Jeff,
example,
I'll be honest
you
with
know,
you. That used to be the case. People don't give a fuck. I mean, look, I always tell comics this. I used to teach the workshop at the Houston Improv before their open mic, and comics would say that all the time. That's a very old school, old road comic mentality, right? And I have a bit that kind of went viral here in Houston, and it was kind of how I made a name for myself back right after Harvey hit. And it was about a 4 or 5 minute bit, and it was about Joel Osteen and Mattress Mac and Hurricane Harvey. And the bit ended up doing like 200,000 views here in Houston, right?
yeah, I remember that one.
And bro, to this day, it's 2024, 7 years later, some people will still come up to me after a show and be like, "Ah, you didn't do the Mattress Mac bit."
Well, but that's what I'm talking about. Y'all get stuck in this. You kind of get, I
Right,
don't know.
but that's what I'm saying.
No one
Like,
wants to watch. Okay, for example, the difference between comedy and music. No one bats an eye at a musician covering a song,
right, yeah, we can't
right?
cover jokes, right?
But you can't cover jokes, and the reason you
No,
can't cover jokes is because it's
stealing.
like, it's not even that. I mean, yes, it's stealing for sure, but more so, it's you're letting the audience know that there's this joke out there that they may not have heard live yet, and it may ruin someone's set. As
Right.
opposed to us, it can only help their
But think
set.
about this. I always phrase, so that's one way, right? But the way I always tell people is this. If you went to back in the day when Andrew Dice Clay blew up, right? You knew the nursery rhyme bits. But if
Right.
you went to go watch Andrew Dice Clay and he didn't do the nursery rhyme bits, you'd be pissed. It's the
Right.
same thing with comics. So you still have to
Yeah.
do the hits. You still have to do the bits. So even if you post them, if that's what you became known for, people still want it. So I
Yeah.
always tell comics, fuck that whole you burn your. Now, yeah, if you do an hour and you're, Bill Burr or you're not going to go do the same shit when you're at that level. But when you're me, I'm
Yeah.
putting everything out. I don't give a fuck if I just wrote it or it's 3 years old and it's my closer and it's my moneymaker, right? It's the best joke I got. I'm putting it out there because I want everything out because it might be the one joke that becomes the joke it might be my Hurricane Harvey joke, but on a national level. And that's
Yeah.
what makes me. So I'm better off
But
doing
that's what
that.
sucks, dude. That's what sucks about social
It's the
media,
game.
man. Like that's what sucks is that we're all just trying to catch
The
eyeballs,
game. Yep.
and and every time we put a piece of content out there, we're buying a lottery ticket.
Yep.
And it's like this is so fucking stupid. It's
Bizarre.
so stupid that
Yeah.
this is what we've come to.
Yeah.
It's not about going out and playing shows in front of live people anymore. It's
Mm-mm.
about how much time you can spend on the shitter coming up with catchy shit to put online. And it's just turned into this,
It's not about the
I
art.
don't know, man.
It's not
It's just
about
turned into this bullshit. And so now you have people that have no fucking talent blowing up on the internet, and you have people with amazing talent that can't get any traction
can't
because
get a sniff.
yeah, it's just crazy. And
It
so,
is. And
I'm rethinking my entire, basically what I've been doing for the last 2 weeks is I've been going through my entire life with a fine tooth comb. everything and thinking, this has got to go, this has got to stay, this has got to go, this has got to stay. Remember you see Memphis Belle about the B-52 bombers whenever
Mm-hmm.
they're up in the air and they're
Mm-hmm.
or not Memphis Belle. Well, it was Titanic, not Titanic. What was the other uh, the war movie? Ben Affleck, Josh Hartnett, Pearl Harbor, Pearl Harbor. And so they got to take the runway. They got to take the B-52 bomber off an aircraft carrier. So they're like just going through it. And
Oh.
they're saying, we don't need this, we don't need that, we don't need this. That's what I'm doing with my life right now.
Uh-huh.
You know, I'm going through everything with a fine tooth comb and thinking, okay, what is this doing for me and what is it not? You know, I've been spending a lot of time doing stuff for TikTok. Well, I went back and looked hundreds of videos later. I only have 11 videos over 1,000 views. And I only have 2 videos over 10,000 views. So that immediately tells me right there that either A, I got to change up my game, or B, just leave it alone.
Fuck
I'm going to
TikTok.
leave it alone because I don't want in that fucking rat race.
Yep.
It's stupid. It's not adding anybody any value. Matter of fact, it's making us dumber. It's making us worse.
Yep.
And so I'm going to go back to, I still post on Facebook and Instagram a lot because I get a lot of traction there. But TikTok, I'll upload some stuff every now and then, but I'm not focusing on it at all anymore.
My chat is like, Barry, take notes. This is great analogy because I'm kind of like, I feel like I'm about if you're in, I'm you. I'm just a few phases behind you, and I really feel like as I watch you do your thing, I kind of feel like I know where you're at, especially on Facebook, because I kind of read between the lines because. And I don't mean this as disrespectful to the chat, but, I realize that the civilian population doesn't understand what you're having to do and what you probably don't want to fucking do. And what you have to do is every day you have to think of 5 to 10 things to post just to be fucking active, and not just to be active, but to generate engagement. So you have to ask a fucking question that you don't give a fuck about, but it's going to create conversation or likes, and you're like, hey, what do you think? So mine was fucking warm potato salad, but it actually happened organically because my wife was like, well, that's fucking weird. That's a white people thing to warm up potato salad. I was like, bullshit. And then I went to Twitter and I was like, I should have went to Facebook, because I'm always fucking around on Twitter. But I was like, engagement. But that's what you're doing. And I'm like, I know he hates this because I know I'm almost there. I just hired a social media person, and that's what she's going to have me be doing. And I'm like, that's where I'm headed. And I'm like, I'm going to be miserable fucking doing
I
it.
started asking those questions. I started posting those questions every day, and it got me, it started getting a lot of traction. And then I started getting people, like a lot of people come to me and they're like, man, I love the fact that you're asking these questions. It's so much fun to get on there and comment and all that stuff. And then I'll have other people be like, I'm unfollowing you because these questions are stupid.
Yeah.
And my answer to both of those people are, I don't fucking care I don't care. Like, I don't care. And that's where I'm at. I'm going back, dude. I'm going back. I'm going to do the work, and I'm going to put the stuff out there. Basically, I'm not even going to think about the content. I have a Dropbox folder with a bunch of content, and I'm just going to go in, and once I post it, I put it in a posted folder, and I keep it. And once I get to the end of it, I'll make new stuff put in there. But once I get to the end of it, I'll start over and go through it again and do it randomly. Maybe it's a question, maybe it's a reel. I'm not going to put any more thought into that. I'm just going to put it out there, and whatever happens, happens. Because there's no way that I can sit here and do. It's not sustainable for me to do the amount of work that I've been doing for the last 3 years. I can't spend so much time focusing on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube Shorts and Facebook and all that stuff, and go out and play 4 or 5 shows a week to make a living, and sit down at some point and write songs,
music. Yeah,
and go to the studio and record it. And I do my podcast now, and I'm editing all that myself. I do everything myself, and so
and market yourself, not your podcast, not your social media, but you have to market yourself as a musician. you have to sell yourself as a musician in the industry, I'm guessing, right? Like,
Yeah, I
forget
mean,
all the
that's not
social
even counting
media
booking.
side of it. Yeah, I know that. Like, you have to email bookers, you have to book gigs, you have to reach out to venues and clubs. That's a whole other, that's a fucking job, bro. Like, that's the crazy thing is like, social media is a job, booking's a job, editing's a job, writing is a job, recording's a job.
And that's why I'm so kind of fed up right now, because it's like I'm spending literally 15, 16 hours a day working, not counting being on stage. And what used to happen is that hour to 90 minutes to 3 hours that I'm on that stage, that's my happy place, right?
Yeah, that's the
And that's my
release.
reward for dealing with all of that other bullshit.
Yeah.
But now society's taken that away from me.
Yeah.
Now
Tell the people
society
why.
has taken away.
Tell the people
They've
why.
taken away that reward because you get up there and you play, and now it's just work because nobody fucking cares. And so it's very rare now that you get applause. Now, granted, if you're playing a festival, I played, opened up for Randy Rogers last Saturday, and I played in front of
Congratulations.
6,400-ish people, and that was a great show. We had a great time. It was so much fun. But then the next day, I go and play in front of fucking 30 people that don't give a fuck if I'm in the room or I'm not. And so it's now I'm trying to figure out, okay, how can I only play shows that matter? How can I only play shows that actually count, but also make a living to pay my bills? And so it's just a very, but everybody's like, well, just go get a day job. Okay, well, I can go get a day job. That's not a problem. I can definitely go do that. But guess what's going to suffer from that? I'm not going to be able to play as many shows. I'm not going to be able to write as much. I'm not going to be able to do the social media shit because I'm going to be working. And so we've got to fix. What I really want to happen. I'm going to tell you what could fix all of this, like that.
Okay.
Is Spotify or distributors to put music on Spotify or any other platform needs to start charging like $1,000 to do it. Because what's happening now is 100,000 new songs are updated or put on Spotify every week. 100,000. So what are your odds of you putting a song out that's going to turn any heads unless you're doing all this stuff? But if we would make it harder to get onto Spotify or harder to get onto Apple Music or wherever these other things are, and then you eliminate all the people that are just doing it for shits and giggles and that aren't really trying and don't really want to invest the money into it, then you eliminate all that.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying do it forever, but if we could just do it for a year or something, if we could just do something and then in turn, Spotify could pay us more for the streams that we get, right? Then we could turn. But if you're allowing everybody to put this stuff up for free or a very small dollar amount to get your stuff up on those platforms, then you're just creating this whole thing. And that's why, and then there's so many songs you can only pay 0.001 cent per stream.
That's
you know what I mean?
Insane, dude.
And so it's just, so I don't even look at Spotify as a income stream. I just look at it as advertising. Yeah. But even that, I mean, what's the point? What's the point?
Well, that's crazy though, but that's a good thing because at least you have that outlet. I'm curious, would you make more if somebody watched or listened to your song on YouTube?
I'm not sure which one it breaks down. YouTube, they all pay about the same as far as that goes. Now, if you have a video on YouTube and you can get that thing to
on your
off,
channel, right?
Yeah. Monetize that. I actually just now hit over 1,000 followers on my YouTube, so I'm gonna actually have a meeting with my buddy Jerry Wayne Longmire.
Yep.
I'm gonna meet with him probably in a couple weeks and sit down and see if he can help me make sure that I have all that stuff set up right, because he's kind of a genius at that shit.
Oh yeah. Yep. Let's see here. Okay. First of all, I'm subscribing. I have like a bunch of different ones here. Let's see. Switch account. I just subscribed from my Barry on Sports. Now I'm subscribing from my Barry is Funny.
I'll go subscribe back.
And then I have one more account, which is like my overall like Barry Laminac. So I just subscribed from 3 different accounts.
Hell yeah.
Oh, I have a 4th one. Oh, okay. Well, you just got 4 no subs. But then I'm gonna go back. But I'm gonna post this in the chat for everybody to go subscribe. And here's the thing though, and this is what I did learn, because this kind of killed my channel So I had a buddy of mine when I was on the radio. I had my Barry is Funny kind of channel going, and he was like, "Yo, why aren't you monetized and stuff?" I was like, "I don't know. I don't really use it." He was like, "I'm gonna send a bunch of people get you monetized." I was like, "Okay, bet." And he's great. He has a scratch off channel, bro. He's like, all he does is, and I say all he does, he's super entertaining, but he scratches lottery tickets, and he's very entertaining. His name's AR Platinum. He's very entertaining, right, when he does it, and so he kind of keeps you engaged. He's got, I think he just hit 100,000 subscribers. He's got a silver play button on fucking YouTube. It's insane. So he goes, "Hey, everybody go subscribe to my buddy Barry Laminek's YouTube channel." And he sent a fucking shit ton of people over. It instantly got me to 1,000 and got me monetized. But it fucked me with the algorithm because every time I posted, none of my subscribers watched my shit because none of them cared about sports or comedy because they were all into scratch offs and lottery. So that's a big lesson I learned is, yeah, you can get other people to come and, you know, like if your buddies send whatever. But the big thing, what you want is you want real, true, organic people that love music or love your music to be who subscribe to you. So yeah, I want everybody that's in this show and in this chat. But yeah, when Jeff posts something, just go click on it. Click like when you see it in your feed, because that's what really matters. That's
Right.
the, you know, that helps the most. So here, hold on, let me. Jeff.
Yeah, I just hired an entertainment lawyer, and he's going through all of my stuff and making sure that everything's set up appropriately, and he's got this whole database set up, and everywhere that is a zero, he's going to help me turn that into an income stream.
Oh,
And
nice.
so, you know, I'm definitely working on it. I'm doing all the right things. It's just, do I, you know, I'm just at the point right now, is the juice worth the squeeze anymore?
Brother.
And just trying to figure out
How long you been doing
what
this?
that's like. I mean, I'll always release music. I'll always record music. I'll always play shows. I'm really, really thinking, you know, I'm 45 years old now, and, you know, is all of it worth it? I mean, it is worth it. It's what I love. It's, you know, it's I'm good at it. We got to figure out a way to eliminate the people that aren't good at it.
That's what's killing what we do. You know what I mean? That's what's killing comedy. That's what's killing music. That's what's killing entertainment. That's what's killing art, is that you get so many people that aren't good, but are passable, that flood the market and dilute the product and lower the expectations of the fans and suck up all the resources at the same time and just crowd
it's not even that they're even that they're not good. It's not that they're not good.
There are some. Let's be real, bro. There are some.
There's definitely some, but
there's always going to be bad musicians and
You've
bad
always had the
comics,
Chris
but
Kattans
it's
of the world. Come
multiplied.
on.
Yeah, right. I mean, but it's multiplied. You know what I mean?
Right, but I think the bigger
So
problem
funny you mentioned him. I
is-
just saw a joke of his. It was the first time I've ever laughed at him. And I'm 49, and I was like, "Oh fuck, that was funny." Can I tell you the joke, bro? It was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, go ahead.
He goes, yeah, I finally got on a dating app, and I just used my name. I was like Chris Kattan, and somebody swiped, and we matched, and they were like, "No way, is this really Chris Kattan?" He's like, "Bitch, why would I use the name Chris Kattan to get fucked? Like, I would use somebody else's name if I was trying to get laid. Why would I use Chris Kattan, you stupid ass?" I was like, yo, that's
pretty
funny
funny.
as fuck. Yeah, it was great. That was the first time I've ever laughed at him. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
That's pretty funny.
That
But
was
my
ironic.
issue is the world now is putting the cart before the horse in both comedy and in music. And what I mean by that is, in the past, you had to go out and you had to be on the road, or you had to do open mics, and you had to do these things. You had to grind it out, and you had to learn certain things so that way, whenever the opportunities did hit you, you're ready for them. Whereas now we're giving all these people these opportunities and they're not ready for them. And then they go out and they just suck. And then when they suck, that turns people off of both comedy and live music. And they're like, man, this has just gone to shit.
Yep.
And so then they go back. So that's why people go see the top 1% or top 2% of comedians and top 1 or 2% of because they know it's going to be good, as opposed to going out and watching this shit that the you know that the gatekeepers are letting through. And so,
Amen.
and that's really what we got to figure out. We got to figure out how to, and if I'm not good enough, that's fine. If people don't like my shit, then tell me. That's
Yeah.
perfectly okay. If you don't want to let me through the gate because I'm not talented enough or because I'm not entertaining enough, that's fine. But whenever you're not letting me through the gate because I'm 45, or you're not letting me in the gate because there's some other kid that's taken my spot that hasn't done anything even close to what I've done, it's crazy. I mean, you'll literally go out, and I'll go on Spotify and I will see an artist have like 150, 200,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. But then I'll go to their Instagram page and they have 800 followers.
It's
Like,
crazy.
how does that happen? Well, it happens because a label saw their stuff and got them put on a playlist. And that was the cool thing about Spotify prior to 2022. Before 2022, you pitched your song, you uploaded your stuff to Spotify, and then whenever it was ready, you would pitch your song to their curators for a playlist, and then you would get on these big
Mm.
playlists, and that's how you got that's how you got thousands and thousands and thousands of spins. Well, after 2022, the labels, they took up they got their hands back on it. So we're back right where we were before all that. So you saw in 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22, you saw a lot of independent artists take off. You got the Cody Johnsons and the Co Wetzels and these people that just really took off as an independent artist. Dude, I mean, and then you'll have something like the Oliver Anthony phenomenon, right? That just blew like crazy, blew up.
Hmm.
Much deserving. He's super talented. He didn't know shit what he was doing, but luckily he surrounded himself by the people that do, and they're helping him out a lot. But immediately the gatekeepers came in and shut all of those possibilities of that happen again down, because they don't want anybody making it through that they don't have their claws in. And I'm not being a conspiracy theorist about it. You can just watch it. You can look at what's blowing up and what's not blowing up. And you can make a decent living. You can make $150,000 a year as an independent artist pretty easy. It's not that hard. But but money, it's not just about the money. It's about playing in front of bigger and better crowds, and setting yourself up. Because
And
what people don't realize, I've been doing this since 2006,
okay.
right? So I'm 18 years into it, right? Well, most people that spend 20 years on a job, they're going to retire, and they're going to have a 401k, and they're going to have a pension, and they're going to have all of this stuff, as opposed to us gig workers, us freelance guys. We ain't got shit, bro. So we have to make more money than everybody else does to survive. I don't have
Yep.
medical insurance, dude. I haven't had medical insurance since 2018.
Nope.
And yeah, and so it's like, but nobody gives a fuck. Nobody cares.
No, and it just like, I know for me, I was talking to Slade yesterday because he was on the show, and I think the question came up about pay, and I was like, comics haven't had a raise, and I mean, I've been in the business 11 years, and I can tell you, feature pay hasn't moved at all.
Yeah.
To feature at a club, every club that I've featured at is still paying the exact same that they paid 11 years ago when I started. Do you
Yeah.
understand the cost difference 11 years ago, what it cost to fill up a car, to drive to Wichita to perform 11 years ago versus now, to what it cost to stay in a hotel 11 years ago versus now, to eat on the road? I mean, like, all of that shit has changed, to get
Yeah.
insurance, to buy clothes, you know what I mean? Like, all of that has changed, but the cost to do the job, the pay to do the job, I don't know if that's the case in music, but I can
No,
tell
it's
you,
it's the same.
yeah,
I mean, if I get paid not a lot more, but more than what I did even 5 years ago,
that's
right?
good.
Because my product demands it. I get really good reviews where I play. People want me. They want to hire me. I'm turning down gigs left and right, bro.
That's
Like
so
left and
good.
right. And so I'm jacking the price up there, and if people want to pay it, they want to pay it. I mean, it's at the point now where I'm actually going through and eliminating gigs that I don't want to play,
That's
regardless of what the
good,
pay is.
man.
But if you're like, let's say an opener, if you're going to be an opener for a let's say you're playing Billy Bob's, or you're playing Green Hall, or you're playing Love and War, one of the bigger Texas venues,
Mhm.
and you go open up for somebody like Shane Smith and the Saints, or Whiskey Myers, or somebody. I mean, they're playing bigger places than that, but you get what I'm saying, dude. They're only going to offer you $500 to open that show. So my band alone cost me $900 to put on stage. That's what my band cost. So for 500, I'm already taking a $400 hit. Okay, that's before gas, before hotels. I have to pay all that. That's before, you know, the album making, and all the tools that it takes me to get to that point. And so it's very hard for me to say, yeah, I'll go do it for that.
Yeah.
And hoping I make up the money,
And
the
merch.
money on merch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Again,
that's what you're hoping.
again, chat, just like I told you yesterday with Slade, man, if you really love a band, if you really love an artist, if you really love a comic, buy their merch. It is the number one way we stay afloat. It is the
Yep.
number one way that we stay alive. It is the number one way that we can continue to do what we do. If you love Jeff Canada, buy a Jeff Canada Sucks shirt or whatever you have. You have some great
It's
merch
available
too,
at
by the way.
jeffcanadasucks.com.
There you go. That's it. What do you have coming up? You've got like, yeah, Joe Pro said exposure bucks. Yeah, that's the other bullshit. As I'm sure you've heard that 1,000
Well,
times.
it is and it's not. It depends on what your end game is. You got to have those exposure gigs. You have to.
The right one is
Because
worth it, but it's the
right,
ones that when a guy says that and there's gonna be fucking 7 people in the crowd, it's like, well, fuck you, bro. That's not
yeah,
gonna help me. Yeah,
right. And
yeah.
that's where you got to really know. So you have to, you have to research the venue. And if I'm going to go play like Sawyer Park here in spring, have you been there? You've been to Sawyer Park in spring? It's
No, is that new
it's
one?
always
Right?
busy.
Oh no, not.
Yeah, yeah.
What am I thinking of?
It's where the old Papa's Ice House was. Over
Oh,
right there.
what's this new one, bro? Right here on 99. You know where I'm talking about, bro? They just opened up something new
Oh,
on
the
90.
Field House.
Yeah, like
That's not a bar. It's a sports complex.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
That place
Yeah.
is huge.
Yeah, it's huge. Well, Sawyer Park's like that, and it's always busy. So, like, I'm gonna go open up for my buddy Jerry Ray Reddick, who is the lead singer for Bowling
Nice.
for Soup. I'm playing open up for here on May. Even though normally I do my own ticketed shows there, but I really want
Yeah.
to play a show with him. So, we're gonna go play over there. But I know that there's gonna be so many people there that it's worth it.
Yeah.
As opposed to, and what's really funny though is some of these artists that come into town, they want me to open up for them because they want my ticket sales. And I'm like,
Yeah.
why in the fuck would I
Why would
open
I
up for
do
you
that?
at Dosey Do when I've sold it out? Like, why would I do that?
Exactly.
It makes no sense.
Exactly.
Now, for buddies, if we're homies,
Yeah,
I'll do it all day,
exactly.
every day.
That's what I like. My buddy Jesse, I'll do that. Like Jesse will be like, "Hey, will you come to?" Yeah, of course. With Jesse Payton, I'll do shows for him and work with him and stuff. But then, yeah, I'm not doing that. Like, no, for other comics.
Yeah,
and
I
stuff
just
like
actually
that.
got offered. Here's a prime example, right? And I'll be completely honest and open about this.
Mhm.
Jimmy Rogers is a promoter around here who has Valor Entertainment. No problems with the guy at all. He's given me some work in the past, and whatever, we're good. Well, he sent me a message the other day. Wants me to come open up the show that Jesse and Dustin are doing out at Sam Houston Raceway
Yeah.
Park.
Yep. I think
But
I'm
he
doing
offered
that
me
show.
$300. He offered me $300, and
Good
he's
luck.
like, it pays $300 for, and this was his text. It pays $300 for only an hour's worth of work. And I
You're like,
basically
bro, I'm not.
messaged him back. I basically messaged him back and said, "Sorry, bro, I'm not taking any shows where I don't make a minimum of $500."
Yeah.
And so,
And,
to me, I know the money will be there to pay more than that. But and I'm not talking any shit about Jimmy. I'm just that's the mentality of the folks that are not in the industry. Most of
yeah.
those promoters are not really in the industry. They just they're good at getting people into a venue, but
That's crazy.
they don't know what we have to go
Well,
through.
let me ask you a question,
They
and
don't.
I'm being fully transparent here. So, like, I book a comedy show at Hop Scholar Ale House. You know where that's at?
Yeah.
And I book it. I was booking it quarterly, right? And I don't book shows. I don't like to book shows because I want to perform. Like, I don't want to.
Yeah.
It's like we were saying. I don't want to be a social media manager. I don't want to do anything but write jokes and perform and make people laugh. That's all I give a fuck about. But you got to supplement, right? So booking this show is a way for me. I can make some money, and but also have a dope ass room, and it does a good job. But Todd, the owner, was like, "Hey, man, I'd like to do music too." And I'm like, "Well, I don't know how to fucking book a room for music." And the place will hold, if I sell out a comedy show, it'll hold 60. So I'm like, "Well, I don't know
Yeah.
how to book music. It doesn't have a huge stage. I don't even know if I could book a full band in there. You know what I mean? But I could
No.
certainly book an acoustic act. But I wouldn't even know how to begin to book something like that, or what a budget would be, or time frames, or shit like that. How
That's
do
easy,
you?
bro. You just throw a fucking rock and you'll hit a fucking musician in this town.
But don't you? So what's the right approach? Because you want to book. Here's my thought. Right, like when I'm booking comedy, I know that people aren't coming for the comics I'm booking because they're not necessarily household names. So I've got to
Right.
hustle to put to sell the tickets. So the venue is like, hey, we're having a comedy show, right? So we're hustling to get this ticket sold. I'm pushing that. How does that work in music? Because I feel like, and this happens sometimes in comedy where the show kind of becomes, we call them comedy hostages, where people show up to have dinner at a restaurant and then all of a sudden a comedy show just starts in the background and they're like, what is happening now? Somebody's just yelling dick jokes while I'm eating my fajitas. And then they're just
Right.
like, well, let's just get the fuck out of here. Right. And so they don't know. And it just, the show becomes an afterthought. Is that how it is sometimes with music? Or,
Well,
and then,
that's the way it is now. I mean, that's definitely the way it is now. The best way to approach that is to find. I mean, 60 people is not a lot of people, right?
no.
Most like, so the best way to what I would do if I was a small venue like that, 60 people, right? I would turn it into a listening room for a night. Meaning, basically, if you're going to come in here, we're going to sell tickets, $5 a piece, $10 a piece, $20 a piece, whatever it is, depending on the artist. And you basically say, when people come in the door, they need to know, hey, this is a listening room. We're here to enjoy the music. That's what Dosey Do does different than everybody else. And so when you go to Dosey Do, everyone's there paying attention. And that's what we need more of. We need more rooms like that. I would rather book a show at Hop Scholar and sell
As a
60
listening room.
bucks
Yeah.
and for $10 a piece and walk out of there with 600 bucks,
Yeah.
right? Than than to than to go, play any of these other places that it's just you're just we call them menu venues. That's
Right.
what we call them
You're just, because I saw you ranting about it on Facebook where it's the back of people's heads and
yeah.
they don't give a fuck. There's nobody is, and you're right. Like nobody used to, dude, when you would go, like I remember my mom owned a club for a while in Conroe. It was called Daniels. And I remember there was a band. Oh, what was the dude's name? Otis. Oh fuck. He would cover Otis Redding a lot. And but they would tour and people would go to watch him. Like, and that was the thing. Like a lot of these
Yeah.
bands, even if they were cover bands, people would go to see the bands and they would watch
Yeah.
the bands. And like you're saying nowadays, like if you go to perform at a venue, it's almost like you feel like your background noise. Kind of like what I was talking about as a comic. Sometimes you just feel like you're just filler noise for the crowd that's there. They're not. When I do a bar gig, that's the same thing. We're telling jokes to the ether because the TVs are on and they're at the bar talking. They don't give a fuck that comedy's in the room. They're not listening. Every once in a while they'll
Right.
heckle and then turn back around and you're like, why am I doing this? I'm just telling
But
jokes
that's the
to
problem. That's the
back of
problem
the
when so
heads.
as a venue owner, you think you need these things to get people in the door, and
But then you don't push it
it's
like that.
right, and you don't push it like that. And if you're not set up as a live music venue or you're not set up as a comedy venue, then you're going to get people that come in there that aren't expecting comedy or not expecting music, and those people are not going to have. But now it's different, dude. 10 years ago, I used to play just cover shows. And I would be on a stage. I wouldn't have to sing the last set because the crowd would sing the whole fucking set, and I would you're just
Nice.
rocking out. It was
You
like a little
just play.
concert.
Yeah.
But now, even at ticket events, people will still buy tickets to your fucking show, dude. They will buy tickets to come, $20, $25 to come see you play somewhere, and they still want to come, dude. So my live album I released last year. It's Live at Dosey Do, And we build this thing for 3 months as a live recording. We're recording a live album. Then we set the whole scene up. We told everybody, hey, bear with us. Don't like everything. My opener talked a lot about it, and the GM got on stage, said we really need y'all react when we want y'all to react, but don't have conversations when the song's going on. Dude, my third song in, I'm setting up the song "Needle and Thread" that I wrote about my mom's passing away, and these four fucking ladies are just and so I basically what I said to them, I said, listen, you may not give a shit about my music, and that's okay. But these people, these other 300 people that are in this venue, they pay $25 to come in here and hear these stories and to hear these songs. And my band spent 3 months preparing just for this one show. So if you don't mind, could you please just shut the fuck up? And I wasn't going to leave it on the recording. And then Chad Prather, my buddy Chad Prather, was like, dude, you got to leave. He was at the show. He's like, you got to leave that shit on the recording. And so it's on the album. If you go listen to my live album, and please, whoever's listening, if you like good Americana music, go listen to my live album, Live at Do-Si Do. Nobody's really listened to it.
Is it on the YouTube channel?
It's on everything. It's
okay.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube.
Speaking of, I don't know if you saw, but when I sent you the email, I asked for like social media and all that. You didn't say none of that, did you?
Oh, my bad. Jeff Canada. Everything's at Jeff Canada Music.
God damn it, Jeff. I was going to put it all in the chat.
JeffCanadaSucks.com.
Okay, I'll just do that. Let's see. Hold on here.
Sorry, man. I just viewed that email as another fucking chore.
I should have sent it a lot sooner. I always wait till the last fucking minute, bro. I'm the worst. JeffCanadaSucks.com. And that'll lead them to all of your social media stuff, correct?
Yeah, everything's there. Or just do Jeff Canada Music on any of the outlets, and it'll all pop up.
All right, so I'm putting JeffCanadaSucks.com in the chat on both Twitch and YouTube. There you go. All right, cool. And then y'all go check it out.
Oh,
and and you can, and that'll take them to your Spotify, all that shit, right?
Yeah, calendar, everything's there.
Dopeness.
Everything with the podcast. I haven't put the podcast on it yet.
What's the podcast called?
Jeff Canada Show.
All right, and what's it about?
It's just random shit. It's sometimes it's a musician, sometimes it's a cop, sometimes it's a lawyer, sometimes it's a whatever, just random stuff.
Nice.
Mostly it's musicians because that's my world. So mostly it's But I've had Slade on it. I've had Jerry Wayne on it. I'm gonna get you on it. I've had a 40-year-old retired HPD officer on it. Just all kind. I'm 19 episodes in. I'm supposed to release the 20th tomorrow, but I haven't done any editing on it yet. So we'll see how that goes. It's not live. We don't. Nothing's live streaming. Everything is one-on-one conversations. They go 2.5, 3 hours long. They're pretty long, but people are digging it, and so I just keep doing it as long as people are digging it.
Nice.
It's just more brand awareness. That's all it is.
That's it, dude. Another spoke in the wheel of entertainment publicity, right? Well, dude, this was dope. I swear to God, we could talk. I could sit here and do this for hours. It always goes by so fast, and these hours fly by. And I try to have some structure to the show because it is live, but we have to do this again. Got to get you back on and talk more
for sure.
Entertainment business. But this was fantastic. So the links are in the chat. You guys go and support and check it out. And Jeff, man, I appreciate it. And y'all support. We'll do it again. Yes.
Yeah.
And hey, maybe you and I could talk. Maybe we'll do something at Hop Scholar. Maybe if you want to do that and you're serious about it, he's down.
Well, first thing I have to do is I have to eliminate all these other gigs I'm playing, and that's got to be the first.
But
thing.
Maybe you can just coach me, and I can figure out how to do that.
Oh, I can definitely help you.
Because he's like, man, let's try music. I'm like, fuck, okay. I just want to do it the right way. You know what I mean? As an entertainer, I don't want to fuck the musicians, but I want the bar to I want everybody to win. So how do you do that? Because I'm doing comedy the right way, right? We sell out every show. The comics make good money. The bar makes money. Crowds get a great show. Yeah. Everybody leaves happy. I want to do the same thing, but I want to do it for music. So,
yeah. Just let me know, dude. You got my number, so just shoot me a text. I'll help out any way I can.
Bet. All right, homie. I appreciate you. That's Jeff Canada, everybody. All right. And that is another episode of Barry on Deck. Folks, I appreciate you tuning in.